It's Group D of the World Cup. It's got France in it. Look at lovely France. And luckily for me, because I've had to learn 32 teams in about 3 days, I've had to work with Liam Tharme, the athletics tactics football writer, to steal his work, essentially. So we're going to talk you through all the teams in Group D, as we've done Group C, and I did B and A, again, stealing Liam's work. And if you enjoyed any of those videos and like them, do please subscribe. It's taken a lot of a lot of research. I'm quite tired. Now, subscribe, like, you know all the things. We've done it enough. Please do them. Here's France. This is what France play like. Now, France are very good. They have a really good team. Probably, I'd say, maybe the best squad in the whole tournament. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Yeah, in terms of personnel, for sure.
Yeah. So
especially
what we've got?
The front three. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and these guys, so what you'll see a lot of these is a lot of combinations in the final third. I'll cover that in a second. But we look across the team. Now, generally speaking, the last few games, they've been playing this 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2 with Griezmann next to these two, so they keep them all together. And it's similar to what Mbappe's doing at PSG, because he likes to play on the left of a front two at the moment. And of course, if you've got Mbappe and you've got Benzema, you want to get two strikers together so they can play up top. But then you've got to have balance elsewhere in the team. So the back three makes perfect sense, because with the two, if you just play a midfield four like this, and I mean, that was the wrong sort of shape, it means you can't build play as well with a midfield two. So you want to have a three in there, so you've got a bit more dialogue between different players. So if you can get Griezmann as well, your best players on the pitch. Then you've got players like Koeman, right wing back, and you've got Theo Hernandez, excellent left wing back, is at AC Milan, isn't he, having a great season?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Kimpembe, Varane, Koundé, all excellent players, and then really young, dynamic midfield, Camavinga and Tchouaméni, who can win the ball back. They're very much defensive midfielder types, do a lot. So that makes perfect sense. But now Deschamps has said he wants to play a back four. How does that look to you if he plays a back four?
I think he might be bluffing. This will probably go disastrously wrong, but my big hot take is they've probably got the players to still play a back three. And I'm like, what would you do if you wanted everyone to think you were going to play a system that you weren't going to play?
I think this is wrong, because all the people will just tell him that you figure it out in 5 minutes.
You would have thought so. My only worry is that these two players, Camavinga and Tchouaméni, both look really talented when I watch them at club level, but you put them together in a double pivot internationally and they just don't look as convincing. We're going to come on to Denmark, but they played each other, France and Denmark, in the Nations League, and these two really struggled and they massively got overrun, which is an issue.
But that was in this shape. So now if they do play the four, I think it would look something like, I think you'd probably keep Varane in because he's won the World Cup before. Maybe keep Koundé or something like that. Maybe Kimpembe. I'm not sure who goes in there. Let's put Kimpembe. I like him, right? So this is what you probably look like.
Two left-footed centre-backs.
Yeah, so maybe I'll put Koundé in then. Or Upamecano. He's very good. I love this guy. Right, so you need a left back, Theo Hernandez, easy. You've got Benjamin Pavard, great player, scored a brilliant goal in the last World Cup. Tchouaméni, Camavinga, you need a midfield three. So you've got options. You've got players like Rabiot, Guendouzi, that one who got punted out of Arsenal. They've got loads of options. You could play at a 4-2 more likely, 3-1. And because Benzema's coming back from injury, it might mean he doesn't start every single game. That gives you license to then play your wide player. It could be Koeman, Nkunku, could be Dembele. Loads of options here. Maybe you put Dembele on this other side here. They've got loads of options, France, and they can basically do what they want. They can pass and keep possession. They can counter if they want. They've got options everywhere. Where's the weakness in this team?
Well, the fact that they have a tendency to really self-destruct it. They can really collapse. We saw it at the Euros. They can take the leading games and then completely fall apart. And that's one of the reasons why Deschamps spoke about in quite a few interesting quotes from the announcement of the squad, where he said that the back three was good. We had some good moments in it. They looked great against Spain in the Nations League when they won it with that shape, but he said it didn't give them enough cover, enough ability to control games, and I guess that would be the reason for the switch. So yes, so if they do fall apart, that's not ideal obviously, but if they do get it right on the pitch, what you'll often see is players like maybe Dembele here, and Theo Hernandez will double up, maybe with Mbappe here, and they want to try and have little rotations, lots of triangles, so they can create these sorts of, well, I'll draw a triangle in case you weren't sure what a triangle was. They want to try and get these to try and bring players out of position so they can get someone else in. So lots of combination play, lots of rotations in these wide areas so they can combine, get the best players together. Griezmann then's in the middle and you've got Koeman on the other side. Well, yeah, that works. That's the sort of thing we'll see. Defensively solid, a couple of mistakes are always there in Hugo Lloris. We've seen that recently. Next team, who's the next team? The next team's Australia, mate. Here they are. They're there.
What do you think of Australia?
They qualify through the playoffs again. I know that Graham Arnold, he spoke quite openly about having difficulties in qualifying because of the pandemic. They had to play a lot of home games not at home, and he seemed incredibly proud of even making it there. But they look a bit weaker than what we've seen of Australia in recent tournaments. They feel like quite a World Cup staple to me.
I think you're being nice there. I think Australia have a really poor squad and quite a weak team. Matt Ryan's the best player they've got by quite a distance. He's the goalkeeper. Aaron Moy's been playing at Celtic this season. He will tend to play as part of a double pivot with maybe a 10 in front of him like this, but in recent games he might drop a little bit and the midfield becomes more of a 3 like this. He looks slow and laboured in a Celtic team he's been playing for. He's really struggled. In the Champions League he didn't look very good. But a lot of this team is from, I recognise watching him in the Scottish Premiership. Sutar is, well, he's technically Scottish, his brother certainly is. And you've got Jason Cummings, who just can't, I mean, he never got in their Scotland squad. He's playing for Australia now. Martin Boyle plays for Hibs. He's all right, quite a good winger. It's a very low level. Jackson Irvine played for Hibs for a bit. There's more. There's St Mirren and Hearts players all over this team. But they don't do anything specifically good. There's nothing to them. Like Boyle will play, he's a winger. He'll play on the outside. He'll try and get inside if you want. It's nothing too special. The fullback won't give you too much. This fullback might go forward. Again, same like every team seems to. You end up with this sort of shape at times. But the midfield will try and protect it from a bit deeper. I don't think they'll get forward that much, especially against France. They'll be in the back foot most of the time. Anything else to add about Australia?
I think Wemabel can be a player that has some exciting moments, but again is more of a scorer of great goals than being a great goal scorer.
Here's a passing network that shows you roughly what I'm talking about with Australia. Lots of defensive possession, very little dialogue with these guys at the top, very little here. This is a game against United Arab Emirates.
That was the first playoff that they played to qualify and get through. And if you watch the goals back from memory, one is off of a set piece, like they're not scoring goals off of these flowing attacking moves. They're playing Matthew Leckie, who is nominally a winger, as sort of a false 9, so they're lacking that real attacking quality.
No great striker, is there?
He is literally a big striker.
Well,
Duke, a big man, a tall man.
We like a big lad, but again, you can see here, it's all dialogue with the midfield and defenders. There's not very much going forward. They're not progressing the ball forward. They're going to struggle against teams who can hit them on the counter-attack, especially if they open up, so they probably won't open up. They might try and keep games as tight as possible, and you can sort of see that with a 0-0 with Peru in this example here. So that's kind of Australia. They're not, like, I mean, all these teams that are not like the best, we talked about a few teams that don't look great at all in this World Cup. They'll score goals, they'll be fine, they'll be a good fun. Doesn't really matter. A team who I think is actually secretly really, really good is Denmark. This is what Denmark look like. It's mostly a 4-2-3-1. They've also played a back 3 quite a lot often. That seems to be a trend amongst other teams. Don't tell me how Denmark play.
Well, they're good fun. They've got a different head coach to what they had at the Euros. So obviously from memory, we know they were really good there. They got to the semi-finals. Myler was more of a wing back, still plays that role out on the left, now just in a back 4. I think really they've got one of the best sort of midfield 3s. When you look at the balance, they've got players in there that can tackle, they can win you the ball, they can pass forward, they're comfortable putting out into wide areas. And of course, they've got Christian Eriksen playing in the number 10, who's just phenomenally good in terms of chance creation. And they just end up playing through teams really well because they've got lots of players that can do lots of good things. Centre-backs can play forward. They're great fun to watch. Yes,
that's an important thing. So Kier and Christensen can both play out from the back, so they can confidently play out from the back with the goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel. You may remember him. He now plays for Nice.
Nice.
Which is nice. Yes, thank you for stealing that one. That's good. What you have, so Dahlberg, this guy didn't play very well in the Premier League. He's gone again, but doing well. Christian Eriksen, we say will be as a 10, will float around these sort of positions here. Then you'll get overlaps from Daniel Vass and Joaquin Mele. This guy is really important to how they play. He scored a lot of goals under the current managers, like 9 goals or something.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous number. Just ghosts in, all the way up into the penalty area. They're not just screamers from distance. He's genuinely scoring goals where he's in and around the penalty spot.
Yeah.
Which is mental for a fullback.
He starts as a left back. Yeah, that's the weird thing. Thomas Delaney and Højbjerg, very much, they can do box to box, but they're quite defensively minded. They'll win a tackle on that. And Scott Olsen can be the right-sided winger. They've got some decent options on the bench, players like Martin Brathwaite, but generally it's going to be probably this 4-2-3-1, or it could also be, as we said, a 3-4-3. So if you put Kier and Christensen here, who'd be the centre-back there? Anderson. Joachim Anderson of Crystal Palace fame. This guy, great distribution, really good long balls out from the back. Christensen's not far off it. He can carry the ball as well a bit. But this guy, really good at this, can get the ball out to wing-backs easier if they have a higher starting position. So in the back 3, you can push your wing-backs up more. Inside forwards can come inside like this. Damsgaard was really good. He's the one that covered for Eriksen after obviously what happened in the last Euros tournament. So Stamsgaard came inside here, and then you've got Skovolsson here. There's obviously too many players, so we'll maybe get rid of him, put Eriksson here. Maybe that'll work. Then you've got wing backs can get forward, nice and wide, nice and early. Then you can get your forwards into these positions, and you've got a good defensive cover for 3 very good ball-playing centre-backs. So that's one of the things Denmark have. They're a really good team. To show you how good Wacky Mela is, what he does, so we're talking about filming a potato here, but this is him, left wing back, I think he's playing this game, maybe a left back, but he starts here and finishes a move here. So he's able to just do loads of different things in the same move. He chips the goalkeeper from here, by the way, against the Faroe Islands. It's a really good finish. So that is Denmark. That's how Denmark are going to play. You think they're one of the favourites to win it, not even underdogs, you said?
I think, to have them as dark horses feels a bit ungenerous because they were so good at the Euros and they're one of the top 10 ranked FIFA sides in the world. So very, very good. I think there's probably more.
They're top 10? Are they in 10th?
They're 10th.
Are they?
Yeah, 10th.
There you go.
This is the only group with 2 top 10 FIFA teams in the world.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard. Is it a group of death then? No, because Australia and Tunisia, who we're going to cover next, who also aren't great. One of their best players is a guy who used to play for Sunderland and wasn't even that good for them. No, he's all right actually. That's harsh. But they, like many teams in this World Cup, don't have an awful lot about them. Tunisia. They play a 4-1-4-1. It'll mostly look exactly like this. It'll be this sort of block. They want to show teams wide, encourage them to put the ball into the box from crosses, and then they can head it away, and hopefully they can break with a counter and get this guy to take a free kick or score something or do something with the ball, something special like that.
There is one fun thing they do in possession when I watch them, and I think Elias Shaqiri is how you pronounce his name, plays in Germany, very good pivot player, would drop in between the centre-backs who would come a bit wider. And when he drops in, he plays some really nice forward vertical passes, but that is about as good as they got, which I think just adds to your point about needing to be defensively quality. They did have 7 clean sheets in a row, sort of across this year. They had a new head coach come in, and then they played Brazil and lost 5-1. So maybe that's a sort of a bearing as to where they are. Yeah.
So the point with Tunisia, I'm not trying to slag them off or anything. They have not as good players as other countries, which is normal. It's not massive. But what they do is they maximise their defensive efficiency to try and squash games down. And you can see, this is the shot locations conceded for Tunisia in their World Cup qualifying group.
It's their playoff, so they're 2 playoff games.
Yes.
So you add it all together, generally low quality chances, obviously not giving up a ton of XG, which is good as well. But again, you look at this at the other end of the pitch, you're going to get a similar story where they don't create a whole lot. So they need this to have any chance really of getting anything from games.
They want you to foul them so they get a penalty.
Yes.
That's the way forward.
Tactics.
That's not a bad tactic.
No, good one.
Yes. So that's Tunisia. Honestly, not too much to them. They're all right. France, by far and away the best team-ish, because Denmark are really good. Like them. That's Group D. And if you enjoyed any of these ruminations, analyses, then you can read better analysis in The Athletic with Liam's articles that are all there. Go and do that. And yes, subscribe to the channel. And we'll see if all the World Cup videos we've got coming up. E and F to come, and G and H. More teams to learn about.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and Rafa Honigstein. There are journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.